here we stand in front of, this is an American M1917. It's a clone of the French FT. Understand that in April 1917, America had no tanks. They inspected the British tanks and they inspected the French tanks. And as you can see here, the French tank won out. It's an almost exact clone of the French FT. There's a couple variations, mostly the gun shield in front of the gun mantlet. You can't really see here. There's an extra vision port on the side here. The exhaust is kind of weird on this vehicle because normally the exhaust would be on the opposite side and not on this side for the American version. It also has an hexagonal turret, which is different from the French FT. The French FT had more rounded plates. The engine was obviously an American engine. The suspension was not actually different. Now, one thing that changed was it was a solid steel idle wheel versus a wood. It was a solid wooden, or it was a 7-spoke steel idle wheel on the FT. A couple other things to point out. If you come back here, we got to come way back here. There's that scoop is actually to hold. They would use that to hold tools. They could also mount a box to it. But essentially that scoop was actually there to help cross wide trenches. As you can see, this FT is, well, this M1917 is a much smaller tank versus what the British had with their land ships. And that's actually one reason this was chosen. These were cheaper to produce. They were a smaller vehicle. They were easier to use. They could be, two men could essentially use it. You'd have the commander in the turret, and essentially he would fire, load, and spot targets. And then the loader would be in the front glacis here. And essentially this would be the forebearer to modern tank design, where you have a full 360-degree turret, engine is in the rear, driver's in front, and then you have your gun in the turret. Some variants, this one has the 37mm cannon. Some variants would have a Browning M1917 tank gun. Not much different from the water-cooled gun, except for it was air-cooled, had a longer barrel and a heavier barrel, so it could withstand the sustained fire and heat. So there you go. This is what started it all for America. It's really what started modern tank design with the French, and it would cross over into America.